There are so many machines on the market. How do you shop for one? How do you compare? Well, today we're going to compare the Presto 2 and the Janome 4120 QDC. And if you're not in the market for this kind of machine, we're still going to talk about how do you look for the features? How do you compare? It's going to be a shopping extravaganza. So I'm Cathy. This is Sewing Tech Talk. Let's get shopping. So we have a giveaway for this video. If you comment, if you like it, or if you share it, you could win a cool box of thread. So do all of those, and if you want to, you can subscribe while you're there because we have a lot more fun videos to come. Now I also have a handout for this video, and in the handout I go through all the specific features for these two machines, and I have a blank spot. Say you want to compare to another machine. Well, all the little checklists are things that you can refer to see what function is this, what function is that. So you hopefully don't have to take notes while you're watching the video. Download the handout. You can print it, put it on your tablet. I also have a couple of sample pages from each of these instruction books. So a lot of information there. Don't forget you have that. And I'm going to use this as a cheat sheet as we go because there's so many features. I don't want to forget any of them. So the first thing you might notice when you look at both of these machines is their different sizes. I chose these two machines to compare because they're about the same price. They have a lot of the same features, but they're different sizes and they have some specific things that are a little bit different. Now, what would make an easy video would be you to say, Cathy, which one do you like best? But it doesn't work that way. When we're talking about features in the machine, the most important feature is you. You're the sewer and you decide what works for you. So for example, this is a smaller machine. It comes with a hard case. It's only 14 pounds. If you're the type of sewer that needs to take your machine and put it away between sewing sessions and you want a hard case and you want a lightweight machine, perfect machine for you. It's handy dandy portable. This machine's a little bit bigger, more of a standard size. If you're lucky enough to be able to leave your machine up, or if 20 pounds of machine isn't a problem for you, you have a bigger area in here. So if you do quilting, maybe 8 inches of space is a lot better than 6 inches of space for getting your quilt project in there. So depending on you, that's the general overview of why one or the other might be a good machine. Aside from that, they got a lot of stuff that's pretty similar and a few things that are a little bit different. Now, this one does come with a hard case. It has 120 stitches, and it has a handy dandy little chart that flips up and you can see all the fun stitches that come with it. We're going to talk about those a lot more a little bit later on, and we're going to sew and show you how you can combine stitches. This one has a hard shell on the top. Its stitch menu is right inside. Doesn't come with a hard case, comes with a soft cover, but this hard shell on the top means that, well, yeah, you can store it too. Of course, they both come with handy dandy handles, so they're both portables. Now, they have a lot of features in each machine, a few more feet in one, a few more features in the other. Let's look a little bit closer at the Presto 2, and then we'll jump over to the Janome. Let's look a little bit closer to this one. Tons of feet and features, but it has a more limited selection of feet than the Janome does. It has 7 feet that come with it. These are your standard sewing feet, more like for utility. A zigzag foot, an edge sewing foot. It has a blind hem foot, a zipper foot, a foot for doing decorative stitches, making buttonholes, and the Janome doesn't have, but this does have, a foot for sewing on buttons. It also comes with a handy dandy tray that they all snap into. Comes with buttonhole cutters, comes with spool caps, they all come with needles and screwdrivers. This comes with an accessory compartment in the front and a second one in the back. And they're both free arm machines. So this free arm comes off so that you can sew sleeves, etc. Now, they both have a screen. The screen on this one is about the same size as the other one. And selecting any type of stitch, well, that's pretty simple. When you touch any of these quick access stitches, you go instantly to that stitch. That's the advantage of having an electronic machine, because an electronic machine sets up the stitch when you go to it. Both of these machines are a kick above a basic manual machine. They both will set up that stitch when you go to it, and then you don't have to look up your owner's manual, you don't have to look up the stitch settings. You can adjust the stitch, but when you go to that stitch, boom, you're set right there. That's the advantage to both of these machines at this mid-level range. This machine has lots of markings on the needle plate. It has a quick set front-loading bobbin. The other machine has that as well. They both come with their specific bobbins that they want to use. One thing to remember when you're looking for a machine that may be a secondary machine for you, maybe brand loyalty is something you want to think about. Say you already have a larger baby lock and you want a smaller machine, then the bobbins from the larger one probably fit this one. The same's true over here on the Janome. You already have a big Janome, you want a smaller Janome to go to classes, then those bobbins will fit this. So think about brand loyalty. If you like your other machine, maybe a companion machine in the same brand might work for you. This machine, like I said, has a soft cover. It has an instruction manual that's 130 pages and a quick reference guide. So that's something to look for. Is there instructions that you really, really like? On my handout, I have a sample page of what the instructions read like. This 130-page instruction manual has a lot of pictures in it. So if you're the kind of person that likes visuals, it might be a nice instruction manual for you. Now, Baby Lock also has online classes, so that might be something that works for you. So we talked about the general stuff. We're going to come back for a deeper dive in a little bit. Let's move over to the Janome. Now this Janome, like I said, it's a little bit smaller of a machine. Its thread chart and the stitch chart is small. It comes up here, it can be removed, and it has alphabets, it has decorative stitches. Like I said, we're going to go into those a little bit later on. It has a lot more feet than the Baby Lock does. So if you're a person that likes to collect feet for your sewing machine, you've got a big head start on this machine. It has the typical feet that this Baby Lock does, but with the exception, it has a quilting foot accessory package that comes with it. That means it has a walking foot that comes with it, a free motion foot, a open toe foot, and even a 1/4-inch foot comes with the machine. So that's kind of an advantage for this one. This one, you can get those feet, but it's a little bit extra of an expense. This machine also has a seam guide, and they both have easy one-step buttonholes. The buttonholes on both of these machines are one step, meaning you don't have to set the dial in between each. They each have 7 different buttonholes, but they're slightly different. They even have the setting for a bound buttonhole, which is pretty cool. So both of these machines have great feet. Oh, another accessory I forgot over here on the Janome. Check it out. It's a smaller machine, so it comes with an extension table. This extension table is something that you can take off the free arm accessory compartment and put this accessory table on, and that gives you a little bit more sewing space on this 3/4 size machine. Baby Lock Presto doesn't come with it. Of course, you could get one as an accessory, but this one does come with it. So this one comes with a few more accessories. This one comes with a bigger size. So let's take a deep dive into some of the stitches, how we're going to combine stitches, and see how the maneuverability of accessing the stitches in the screen, see what suits you. So let me start with the Janome. We'll put this Baby Lock down, and I'll be right back, and we'll sew on this Janome, and we'll see what it's like. So let's put on the extension table. We're going to take off the accessory tray and put this extension table on. Slides on really easy. We're going to thread this machine, and then we're going to thread in the next segment, we're going to thread the baby lock. This one has a needle threader that's a little bit different, and I wanted you to see that. So both machines have a thread path that's numbered and super easy to follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this needle threader comes down and swings forward. I'm going to put the thread in the hook and lift up the needle threader, and boom shakalaka boom, that needle is threaded. Now I have a little bit of manipulation with the needle threader, but it's something that you can easily, a couple times with practice, you're going to get it. Both of these machines have a front loading drop-in bobbin. That is right in here, and it has a clear cover so that you can see. It's a horizontal rotary hook on both machines. This bobbin drops in, you bring it over to the side, you put the bobbin cover on, and we're going to needle down, needle back up again, and pull up that bobbin thread. Pretty easy. So now we're ready to sew. I'm going to put on the standard presser foot. It's a snap-on foot, just like the baby lock. A couple of these feet that come with a Janome are not snap-on, like the walking foot, the free motion foot. So they screw on separately. They're not snap-on feet. So now, let's talk about how easy it is to pull up a stitch on this machine. Now on this machine, I have quick access buttons for the 10 most commonly used stitches. All I have to do is touch that stitch, and there's a picture of the stitch and the number, and that stitch automatically comes up. I can change the length of the stitch. If it's a straight stitch, I can change the position of that stitch within the 7 millimeters that I have to adjust it. And I see those settings right here on the machine. Now I have the foot pedal attached to the machine right now. Actually, both machines come with a start-stop button. So if you don't want to do a stitching with your foot pressed down, like a decorative stitch, they have a lot of decorative stitches that you're going to do, you can unplug the foot and simply press the start-stop button and they'll both go, which is pretty cool. They both have automatic reinforcement, and then they have reverse sewing too. This machine has an auto lock feature, meaning that if you're sewing on a garment and you want it to reinforce the seam at the beginning and the end, then you can use that reverse button, and by selecting that one stitch, it'll automatically reinforce at the beginning, at the end, and the end. You also have reinforcement on demand with this machine as well. So let me bring up some decorative stitches and show you how those are combined. Now if I want to do a decorative stitch, I have a stitch menu on the top, and like I said, it's reversible. I can even take it off the machine. I can have it handy dandy on the side. All I have to do to pick a decorative stitch is I'm going to go to the different modes of the machine. Now you can see over here on the screen to the left, it has direct access, that's these stitches, utility stitches, decorative stitches, and this machine comes with a font, meaning that you can stitch out as words as a decorative stitch and combine those. So if I go to mode number 3, I touch this and go down to 3, I'm going to enter the number of the stitch that I want to put in. Say it's stitch number 68, and it automatically comes up with a representation of that stitch and the foot that's recommended. Now here's the width of the stitch and the length. I can sometimes change that depending on that stitch. Now if I want to add another stitch to this, all I do is touch memory. There's the one stitch entered, and now I'm going to add its companion, stitch number 67, 6, 7, and put that into memory, and now I have the two stitches combined, and when I sew, it's going to sew those stitches one right after the other. So you can see it's really easy to get to any of the stitches that you want to use, any of the utility stitches, any of the decorative stitches, and even that alphabet. If I was going to spell out a name, it would be just as simple as putting in the code for each of the letters and pressing memory and then stitch it out. This one has a mirror image, and if I made a mistake, I put the wrong stitch in, I have a clear button to take that out. Now when I'm sewing my decorative stitches, I have a speed control. What this does is this limits the top speed of the machine. So if I'm sewing and I want to go real slow and careful, I can tell the machine sew slow, or tell the machine to sew at its top speed, which is 820 stitches a minute. Twin needle mode means that if I want to do a decorative stitch with a twin needle, I can automatically press that and the machine will limit the side-to-side motion, so I'm not going to break my twin needle. It comes with a twin needle. If I want to do a twin needle stitch, not all decorative stitches play, and in your owner's manual it tells you which ones that, that you can use with that. So let me stitch this decorative stitch that I plugged in. I took a piece of fabric, got a little piece of stabilizer on the back. We've already threaded it. All I have to do is press the foot pedal and here we go. Now this machine also has a scissor function, so if I want to stop at any time and clip my threads, all I have to do is press that scissor button and it's going to clip those stitches, that thread. Now I'm going to keep it going. I can keep throwing this decorative stitch one right after the other. Now if I'm doing a certain row of stitches, say I'm doing stitches and I want to start at the beginning of that stitch again, no problem. All I have to do is touch the memory key again and it's going to go to the beginning. So one thing about this Janome that I really like is it has very simple programming features that you can easily put the combination of the stitches together. Super simple. It also has something that the Baby Lock does not have. In the decorative stitches, it has a space, and then it also has an automatic locking stitch that you can put in at the end of the decorative stitches. So you can do lots of combinations with that. I finished with my decorative stitch. I'm just going to touch the scissors, lift up the foot, and I'm good to go. So this machine also comes with an instructional DVD, and it does come with some of those other feet that I told you about. So it does come with a walking foot, and that walking foot has a quilt guide that you can attach. So if you want to do some decorative quilting, then you can do parallel rows, and that's pretty easy with that guide. It has a free motion foot. Remember, these are the feet that are extra when it comes to the Baby Lock Presto. It comes with a 1/4 inch foot, which is really nice. Comes with an open toe foot, and it does come with a seam guide. One thing I like about the decorative stitch foot with this machine that's a little bit different than that Baby Lock is it has a little marker for the center of that stitch. That's kind of neat. I guess I could take a Sharpie and put it on the one for the Baby Lock, but this one comes with it automatically. This machine comes with an instructional DVD and a really nice owner's manual. So pretty simple, pretty easy to use. Let's take a look at how the Baby Lock Presto's tiny bit different. It has a few more features up here and a few less feet. Let's go and let's see what that Baby Lock has to offer for us. So let's go to the Baby Lock and a few more things that are different. And I'm going to point out just really basically the differences. So the stitches on this one, it only has fewer stitches than the other machine. And they're right up here on the lid. Actually, it has more alphabets on this machine, more styles of fonts. And those are in the quick reference guide. It even has Japanese, which is kind of fun if you speak Japanese. So threading is also a little, there's a couple features on this that are kind of cool. It has the quick set bobbin and the quick set bobbin winder. So to do the bobbin, very similar to the other machine, I come up here and it has a guided path to show me. But what's a little bit different is when I come over here and I wind it around, it has an automatic cutter and I'm ready to go. So that's a super quick way to get your bobbin set. It has the automatic cutter, which is really, really nice. So let's talk about basic threading, because the couple features on that I have to admit are a little bit easier on this machine. So threading is similar to the other. By the way, they both have a manual tension. So it's pretty simple to set. 4 is the basic, that's the basic center in this machine and on the other machine as well. So you adjust the bobbin, not the bobbin, the tension manually on both of these machines. You can get an auto tension machine. It's a little bit more machine. So we're going to come here, come down. It also has the numbers. One thing that's slightly different on the Baby Lock, it has an automatic locker when you have the presser foot down. It's going to let you thread that because you want to thread with the presser foot up. So that's kind of another feature that's kind of nice. Now, here's what's really nice about this machine is, and I'll have to be honest, I do like this feature a lot. The needle threader is really slick. I put it in that guide above the needle, I lay it in the slot, I cut the thread, and all I do is press the lever and boom, it's done. I don't have to manipulate that thread. Yeah, that's pretty cool. When I set the bobbin, it's called a quick set bobbin. I drop it in, and it also has an automatic thread cutter, so I don't have to pull that bobbin up when I'm ready to sew. That's kind of a time-saving feature. And the accessory tray, well, they don't fall out, so that's kind of nice as well. So now, let's talk about how it's really similar to that other machine in choosing a stitch. So over here, this is the control. It looks a lot similar to the other. If I want to do a quick stitch, all your basic 10 stitches, just like the other machine, I touch a stitch and there it comes. And of course, I can change the width of that stitch. And if it's a straight stitch, I can change the position. One thing that's different on this machine is I can automatically go to a left needle position if I choose by the touch of a button. And on this machine, if I want a automatic, if I want the needle to stay up or down, that's just a quick touch of this button here, and it shows me that needle's going to stay down or that needle's going to stay up, where it's my needle stop position. So I want my needle to be in the center. And another feature on this one is when you're doing a zigzag, you can change the speed control to be a width control of your zigzag. So if I press this button, you can see the icon comes up on the screen, and I'm literally changing the width of my zigzag on the fly as I'm stitching with my speed control button. And that's kind of cool too. So that's kind of nice. Now, if I want to combine stitches on this one, I simply go to that area where the stitches live. In this machine, I have more utility stitches here, but in the land of ferns down here, I can combine stitches just like I did on the other machine. So I'm going to choose stitch number 13. That's very similar to the stitch that we did on the other machine. And let's stitch number 12. Now it shows me I have 2 decorative stitches, and this stitch, number 12, is the second stitch in that position. So it's pretty simple to put the stitches in combination. On this machine, however, I can put them in memory. So I can put a couple combinations in memory. It's a little bit more interactive with that. When I want to put the letters together, I can put up to 70 characters together. So that's a little bit fancier. So now, let's stitch that out. Let's grab our fabric and let's stitch that out, and we're going to see what that looks like when we do our decorative stitch. So now let's see what this decorative stitch looks like. So a lot of features are the same between this machine and the other machine. I have a few more controls over here. I have a few more things that I can combine. It also has that auto start and stop stitch. This machine can be programmed, however, and you have a few more choices when it comes to that auto start and stop stitch. I think there's 4 or 5 different options, and that's in your owner's manual for this machine, but I put that in the handout. Don't forget, in the handout is a chart where you can compare this machine, the other machine, and there's a blank spot. What's key is that there's all the different functions listed, so that if you're looking for a machine that's a little bit more than a manual machine, then these machines will be a great addition to your sewing room if you do a lot of like garment sewing, quilting. These machines work. Now, are there other machines that are bigger, fancier, more stitches, more features? Absolutely. Those are available, but it's a little bit more of an investment. These 2 machines, great mid-level machines, and I think either one, you'd be a happy camper. Let's ask George if he has a special on either one of them or both. Take 2, they're small.
Thanks, Kathy, for that great comparison of both these incredible machines. And we do have a special buy on either one of these. Both of them retail between $11.99 and $12.99, and right now you can purchase either one, either the Janome 4120 QD-CT or the Baby Lock Presto 2 for the price of $699. Plus, we're offering free shipping across the country. Now, you may have questions which one's best for you, and I love the fact that Cathy put together that little chart so you can do that. But I want to give you an opportunity to give us a call at 1-800-865-9664. Leave a message and I'll have one of my trained staff members call you and really go into and find out what your sewing needs are. At Moore's, we carry many quality sewing machines, and I want to underline the word quality because if it's not a quality machine, I don't carry it. So give us a call at 1-800-865-9664 and let us help you find your next sewing machine. Bye for now.